talking about?
All right, hello and welcome to Game Chat Episode 2. Today we're going to be talking about the recent hands-on PS5 impressions that was seen over in Japan and just some of our takes and reactions on it. I think we're both pretty excited about this one, so I guess let's jump right into it. We did get to see some more pictures up close of the console, which I guess with the way that PlayStation news has been lately is, we're just digging in to try and find something,
Yeah, it's got ray tracing on the console.
Right, yeah.
It's so shiny in the middle.
I actually feel like some of this stuff, it almost looks like they didn't peel the plastic off on the actual console. Like there's like this weird blue sheen to it.
Like the film or whatever, like that you leave on that it feels so satisfying to peel off. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously they showed a few more close-ups of the controller as well, and kind of like the shape of the PlayStation button in the center is no longer a circle. It's actually the outline of the logo, which is pretty neat, as well as what was the other thing, Chase, with the circle square star X on the grip?
What? On the grip? Oh yeah, like the whole grip of the controller is like apparently little microscopic, instead of just being like bumpy like any normal sort of grip type material. It's all of the logos, all the symbols for PlayStation, which is interesting. Probably unnecessary. Hopefully that didn't go into the cost and why it's $70. But hey, I just love how into it they are. Like, it's like no one's gonna notice that, but
right.
You did it. I can't knock it. It's like, oh, that's cool. Like, it's not in the way of anything. But yeah, I thought that was a super weird little touch that they did.
Yeah, same. And really, we didn't get to see a lot in this hands-on, right? Like we got a couple of games shown, but really only gameplay, and like not much else, right? Like no UI or anything.
No, nothing. Like that's the thing. We were just saying how excited we are for it, but it's also like, it's just not enough. It's not enough. Like Astro's Playroom, we saw it in June or July with Jeff Keighley, and then we've seen so much footage of Godfall. Now somebody's playing it, and I do think it looks better played than like as a marketing material. I think seeing somebody play it is pretty awesome, but they didn't show the UI. They didn't show it booting up. They didn't show. I mean, we saw him die a couple times, like probably on purpose, just to show how quickly you get back into the game. But it's like, how long did it take to boot the game up? Where did you boot it from?
Right.
Like,
and I actually do have somebody on Reddit created a GIF here, kind of comparing Jeff Keighley's preview of the Astro's Playroom to the ones that were had most recently, and it does look like the game is loading even faster, so perhaps some optimizations have gone in, but they tried to do like a frame by frame.
It did look smoother.
Yeah, and while this is degraded from being turned into a GIF, like it does look like the load times are significantly faster, and I think that's pretty impressive, for if that's, you're click and go and you gotta wait like 8 seconds maybe, and then you're playing a game.
There are so many games. There's so many games that I stopped playing, like because it takes too long. Like it's like I'd like to sit and play down a round of Dauntless or something like that, but it's like it takes forever to load that game,
right?
For no reason.
And
it's
as
weird.
Well, they kind of showed, the what we're watching here is some more gameplay of them basically dying and respawning. And while this looks great, I also feel like as somebody that had a external SSD on their Xbox and an internal SSD on my PlayStation 4 Pro, I already saw great load times, right? Like, and that's not to discount this or whatever, or discredit. It does seem fast and maybe faster than what I was experiencing, but I think a lot of what we're seeing in these games that they get to show off is really just the generational leap from a spinning mechanical drive to a solid state drive.
To an SSD. Yeah, like, for real. Yeah, and it's just like, man, it was hands-on, but it was so cagey. Again, I'm gonna use that word every single time we talk about Sony. It's fucking cagey. It's just cagey. How controlled the environment was. I was reading about, like, the room was 30 degrees Celsius, so like 86 degrees Fahrenheit, because it was like in a basement with all like the spotlights, which I clearly don't have, to make it look really nice. And then the console's running cool though, and it's running quiet. Like, that's all good stuff. I think the hardware sounds like it's really impressive. The games are what we knew already. They didn't show a new game. Not that they should have, but like, I didn't see what the console does. There's still a button on the controller. I don't know what the create button. They made such a big deal about changing share button to create, and they haven't said anything.
Yeah, no, that's actually
we're a month out.
That's a great thing to bring up, because again, we saw gameplay, we saw, you know, some stuff that we kind of already knew, like fast load times. Okay. Yeah. It's great to hear that, you know, no noticeable noise, because the few disc games that I did have, and when I played The Last of Us 2, because that was borrowed on a disc, and I mean, the thing sounded like it was a helicarrier about to take off every time. And even in
even when I play No Man's Sky digitally, it's like
I was just gonna reference God of War 4. When I played that was always my thing. It was like, dude, this thing is like Air Force One. It's like a jet firing up, ready to take off.
I know you can clean it out or whatever, but it's like that shit's still getting hot.
Absolutely. And I've taken mine apart and cleaned it, and I you know, without completely dismantling it and changing the thermal paste or anything, but like, they're just loud, right? Like, they're compact systems. That's always the thing with consoles, is the more powerful they get, the more power they need, the more heat they generate. And in most modern day, you know, computers, when people are like PC gamer, they've got a huge box with tons of fans and giant airflow. Usually the smallest fan you have is
liquid cooling, or is that not cool anymore? I don't know.
And they are implementing that sort of into, I think, both these systems with the evaporative cooler, which is kind of like some liquid cooling-esque things. But
I didn't know that.
Like, what do you do? Like, even though the PlayStation 4 is huge, or sorry, the PlayStation 5. I mean,
PS5.
The PS4 was pretty big, but
it's such a confusing naming convention.
Right.
Series X and the Series S and the 1X and the 1S. And the 1 and the 360.
The PlayStation 5 is large, right? It's got a lot of cooling. However,
huge.
You know, again, in most PCs, you're getting a 120 millimeter fan as your small one. You know what I mean? And this thing doesn't even have a space for that unless it's horizontal of some sort. So who knows, you know, internal workings of it. But like, it's good to hear.
Yeah, it would like blow up into the clamshell.
It's good to hear these things, but again, I really feel like there's a huge lack of information, right? Like in one of these guys said that, you know, it remained cold after 80 minutes of gameplay, which that's great. However, it's still like kind of missing something. Like, what else? Again, what's the create button? What does the UI look like? What is the backwards?
What does the UI look like?
Compatibility and functions.
Compatibility. Right? I know it shouldn't matter as much as the UI, but it's like they made such a big deal. They're like, the create button on the controller is one thing where it's like, we'll talk about it at a later date. You don't have much later dates to throw around. We're in the month before the console comes out, and then like the UI, I know it's like, who cares? Just get into your game, but it's like, the PS4 UI is clunky. Like, it functions, but it's like, it runs poorly. It always kind of did, especially as games got more advanced and like pushed the tech, and like they couldn't run it as smoothly in the background depending on the game you're playing. But like, and they also said no pixel was left untouched.
Right. And we've already seen from
can we see it?
You know, a lot of the hands-on with Xbox Series X that's been going on, you know, doing the rounds on YouTube.
It's like the whole thing.
They're throwing off everything, and the UI, it's basically the same, right? Like, they're literally using the same UI that they've been building out over the last 7 years, from its initial conception and launch to where they're at now. And they're like, yeah, we're just gonna keep doing the same thing, right? I almost feel like in some ways you kind of get that iPhone aesthetic, where like, hey, yeah, dude, you do a backup to your new phone, you got the new hardware, but everything looks the same. All your apps install, everything is visually
It's a pretty good
functioning the
analogy.
same. And here we are a month away from the launch of the PS5, and we don't even know anything. We don't know if it's the same as the PS4, if it's totally redesigned, where it stands, how fast is it, what is the functions, and again, Sony's lack of information.
Yeah, it's like it's this weird coin where it's like it's more hype because it's like anything is exciting, and then it's also like doubt. It's like hype and doubt. Like if you had something to show off, now's the time. Like Xbox is coming out swinging, you know, they buy a bit that, or Microsoft buys with that, and Xbox is like hands-on. Here's the console to all you random streamers on YouTube or whatever, and everyone's playing it, showing off everything. We get controlled environment with like 6 YouTubers in like a studio room that isn't really a natural place to be playing it in the first place. So it's like it's a step in a direction,
right?
It's coming. Like, I don't know, maybe more is coming this week, but who the hell knows?
Yeah.
I don't think Sony knows.
Well, and that's the kind of concerning point is that, you know, the lack of information that we've got. Is it because it's intentional, as in they know once we get our hands on it that we're gonna like it or whatever it is, or is it because they straight up don't know? You know, are they not talking about the create button because like, they're not even really sure what it is or what it does? Like they have a vague idea and like it'll be implemented in a month. Don't worry.
It'll come in like 1.0.1 or whatever, right? Like the create button's there. It doesn't do anything, but we promise it's going to be cool. When we create the function of the create button, it's going to be great. And maybe it is all intentional, but like it raises questions. Still, like, and they were also instructed they couldn't show the back of the console. We've seen the back of the console in their own turnarounds. Why not now? That's like a weird
note of like what kind of ports are on it or anything. And again, you know, just Sony kind of being cagey and really not really informing, which is kind of weird.
It's super weird, especially if you come out of the generation you just had. Like, shouldn't you just be like, ta-da?
Yeah. Check out the new hotness. Here's the spin all the way around. Here's what you get.
Here's why you want to stay with us. Like, here's the reason why PlayStation is the best. I mean, that's what the marketing team would say. Where Microsoft is like, they're very much doing that. They're like, this is the best place to play Game Pass. This is the best place to stream your stuff to your phone. If you're taking a poop, want to keep playing Gears, you can do that. xCloud. You know, play it on PC, on Windows, Microsoft's operating system. Like they're making a very compelling argument for people that are on the fence or couldn't get a PlayStation 5. Maybe now the next wave comes and they buy a Series X because they know what they're getting. Like it's very valid at this point, because it's like if you're not really tied to the PlayStation exclusives you know that are going to come. I don't know what I pre-ordered, Sean. I don't know what I got. What did I pay for? I don't know. Like I know that like the design's growing on me. I think it's super weird, and I think it's like future tech that'll look dated in 2 years, like easily. Like I think it's one of those things that's trying so hard to be futuristic it's going to look old sooner. It's not like a timeless design, but it's neat. I don't know, like seeing it in person-ish, like in those videos, like seeing it stood there, the light around it, like it's sleek, it's cool. I think it's unique, and I definitely don't raise an eyebrow as much at it as I did when it was first announced. Yeah, because when it was announced, I was like, why? Now I'm like, why? But I guess it's cool. Right. I still don't know why, but if it runs as cool as they say, then that alone's worth it, man. I don't want this $500 machine to go burn it into the atmosphere because they won't make it compact. Give me a big ass thing. Yeah, having to put headphones on, not because I want to get immersed in the game, but just because I don't want to hear the damn console that I'm playing the game on. Like, what the heck? But yeah, I'm looking forward to more. I guess it's just another thing of them just like dangling the carrot.
Well, and I think the unfortunate kind of like wrap up from everything that we saw, if we're gonna summarize it, is more of the same, no real new news. we saw stuff running on actual hardware, which is great. And that's kind of it.
That's
right?
cool.
Like you said, we saw Godfall, and it was nice to see somebody actually like play that more than just like a trailer that was set up and everything.
Yeah.
In Astro's Playroom. But
I'm excited
again,
for that game.
like it's more gameplay, which is what we know it does. We know it plays games. Still a lack of information
That's it.
on
That's all we know.
what the missing features are, so to speak. So,
right. And I don't know. With the Xbox though, like going back to that, people all over the internet are like, they're just showing off how it can run games backward compatibility, and I mean it's cool, but let's see some next gen games. Oh wait, they don't have them. Oh, and then like we get next gen games on the PS5. It's on PC too. It's nothing, you know what I mean. And then it's like, well, how does backwards compatibility work? Like both sides are answering questions the other one needs to answer, but then I don't know. It's weird. I want to know how boost mode works. Like, I'm really curious. Now that I saw Series X, I feel like it should have been like, here's Red Dead Redemption 2 running on the PlayStation 5, and it loads 1.5 seconds faster than the Series X. You know, like, I don't know. Just, I want more, man.
Yeah.
Always. It's never enough. I'm a glutton, I guess. Feed me PlayStation 5 information at this point. I know all I need to know about the Series X. Which is like, it's another Xbox that's better.
Right.
I guess maybe that's what the PS5 is. I don't know.
Well, that's kind of it for today's show. We just wanted to catch a quick recap of all the events that happened with the hands-on. Again, there's not really a ton of information. I'm going to drop some links in the description below of a couple of the Reddit posts and other various YouTube clips and streams that we have of it if you're interested in any of that information. You can check us out over on Facebook. It's facebook.com/GameClubCoalition. I think we've got some links in the description or in the homepage or about or whatever, and as well on YouTube. We hope to be seeing you guys in the future. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content that we're creating. We're going to be coming up more real soon.
Thanks.